If you die today, what legacy are you leaving behind? If you were to die today, what would you be remembered for? What can we culminate and explain your years of existence as? What would people sum up your 20, 30, 40, 50 years of life as? What would people know you for? What is your legacy? What have you lived for? What have you spent every 24 hours of the day doing? What have you spent every 365 days of the year doing? What have you spent every decade of your life so far doing? What do you stand for? What will you stand for? If you live another 10 years, another 15, another 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and at the end of the day, you were to check out from this place, what would be your legacy? What would men remember you for? What would people remember you for? Every person you met, every man you met, every woman you met, every friend, every classmate, every colleague, every partner, every business person you ever had dealings with, what would your society, your nation, your city, what would they remember you for? What would you be known as? What did you live in this world, in this life? Every second and every minute and every time spent, what was it for? What have you contributed to humanity? And what are you planning to contribute? I tell you, my friend, any successful person who wants to be remembered must have a legacy that they left behind. There must be something people can look back on and say, this is the kind of person he was, and this is the thing that he left behind. You don't want to live as someone without a legacy. You don't want to just live. You don't just want to exist. You want to live for a reason. You want to live with a reason, and you want to live a reason. You want to leave something in people's lives. You want to leave something behind. You want to be someone who dropped something. You want to be someone who contributed something. You want to be someone who did something significant. To live a life of legacy, you must be willing and ready to do something that no one has been able to do, that no one was ever able to do. People need your legacy. People have to remember you for something. What will be carved in the sands of time? When men think of you and they have to describe you, when people think of your memory, when the memory of you crosses the minds of men, what would they remember you for? What use is life if we live it just existing but never ever contributing anything significant to it? The goal must be to live a life of legacy. Let your everyday be a life of legacy. Let your everyday be a step in that direction. Let your every week and your every month, your every year, let it be in aim. Let your aim be to leave a legacy behind. If fate happens and things happen and you were to end your race suddenly, let it be that the man in whose life you ever stayed, men with whom you ever had encounters, they are able to look back and say, this was one person who did this and who did that. This was a man who left a legacy of hard work, a legacy of consistent push and consistent drive and consistent motivation for success. You must be somebody who is and who was and who is ready to leave legacies behind. Let your family know the legacy that you are leaving behind. Let your society know that you are a person of legacy. Let yourself, your very self, your thoughts, your mind, let your entire being be conscious of the legacy you are trying to leave behind. You, my friend, must change the way you do things, the way you think, the way you approach life. If you were just living, just existing, you must put an end to such mannerisms. You must change and decide, I will live for a cause and I will live to contribute something every day to my society. You must leave something, you must give something, you must leave a legacy. Otherwise, you have never really lived. Successful people leave legacies behind. No matter how short their life is, they leave an impact. You, my friend, have something inside of you that the world is in need of, and the world wants to see the legacy of your time spent on earth. We are currently living in the legacy of everyone that went before us. And we have been given the privilege to also do the same, so that those who come ahead of us will look back and say, we lived our lives well. Remember, my friend, as you live with the consciousness of legacies, you will stay motivated.